For today's video, we will discuss about what is antenna, what is sector antenna, the design of sector antenna, and also the use of sector antenna. In brief explanation about antenna, it is a metallic structure that captures and or transmit radiomagnetic waves. A sector antenna, also known as a sector panel, is an outdoor directional antenna. Base station are the most popular user, and they can seen hung on mobile phone towers. They're long, skinny antennas with a lot of gain. What is antenna? According to National Aeronautics and Space Administration o NASA, an antenna is a metallic structure that captures and or transmit radioelectronic waves. Antennas come in all shapes and size, from little ones that can be found on your roof to watch TV, to really big ones that capture signals from satellite millions of miles away. The antennas that space communication and navigation uses are special bowl-shaped antenna that focuses signal at single point, called a parabolic antenna. The bowl shape is what allows the signal to both capture and transmit electromagnetic waves. These antennas move horizontally, measured in hour angle or declination, and vertically, measured in azimuth or elevation, in order to capture and transmit the signal. It has over 65 antennas that helps captures and transmit data to and from satellite in space. After discussing what is antenna, next is we will proceed to sector antenna. Sector antenna is a type of directional microwave antenna with a sector-shaped radiation pattern. As you can see in the right side, these are one of the example of sector antenna. Typically, GMS sector antenna outdoor unit. The word sector is used in a geometric sense, some portion of the circumference of a circle measured in degrees of arc, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, and 120 degrees. Design are typical, often with a few degrees extra to ensure overlap and mounted in multiples when wider of full circle coverage is required. The largest use of these antennas is for cell phone base station. They are also used for other types of mobile communications. For example, in Wi-Fi network, they are used for limited range, distance of around 4 to 5 kilometers. A sector antenna or sector panel is a directional antenna for outdoor applications. They are most often used by base station and can be seen hung on a cell phone towers. They are long, narrow antennas with high gains. Sector antennas consist of an array of dipoles placed in front of shaped reflector. The size and the shape of the reflector determines the performance of these antennas. The reflector is usually flat with some ridges or other features along the edges. Next, we will proceed to the design of sector antennas. A typical sector antenna is depicted by the picture shown. At the bottom, there are RF connectors for coaxial cable and adjustment mechanism. For its outer placement, the main reflector seen in the produced from aluminum and all internal parts are housed in the fiberglass random enclosure to keep its operation stable regardless of weather condition. The main reflecting screen of the sector antenna consists of aluminum and the antenna has a rendezvous which is usually developed from a fiberglass material. This keeps the component inside the material is safe and allows the antenna to withstand harsh weather conditions. Sector antennas are used extensively for a cellular communication. As we can see in this picture, the left side is horizontal pattern and the right side is vertical pattern. The antenna radiates a horizontal pan-shaped beam, sharp in the vertical axis so it doesn't spill over into neighboring sector. Design. Grounding is a very important for an outer antenna, so all metal parts are DC grounded. The antenna's long, narrow form gives it a fan-shaped radiation pattern, wide in the horizontal direction and relatively narrowed in the vertical direction. According to the radiation pattern depicted, typical antennas used in a three-sector base station have 66 degrees of horizontal beam width. This means that the signal strength at the positive negative 30 degrees direction is half, or 3 decibels down, from its peak value at the center. At the positive negative 60 degrees direction, it is suggested to be a border of a sector and antenna gain is negligible there. Vertical beam width is not wider than 50 degrees, meaning 7.5 degrees in each direction. Unlike antennas for commercial broadcasting, AM, FM, and television. For example, which must achieve line of sight over many miles or kilometers. There is usually a downward beam tilt or down tilt so that the base station can more effectively covers its immediate area and not cause RF interference or distant cell. The coverage area, which is determined by the projection of the radiation pattern on the ground, can be adjusted by changing the down tilt of the pattern. In some models, this is done mechanically by manually adjusting the tilt of antenna with an adjustable mounting bracket. In more recent sector antennas, the pattern can be electronically tilted by adjustable phase shifters in the feed of the individual dipole elements. These are adjusted by a remote control circuit from the ground, eliminating the need for a technician to climb the antenna tower. The use of sector antenna. The use of sector antenna. Once the antenna unit is attached to a supporting structure, it has to be positioned. Positioning means not only setting a correct direction or azimuth, but setting a correct down tilt as well. By restricting emitted energy to a subcircular arc and narrow vertical coverage, the design makes efficient use of relative low power transmitter equipment. Though absolute range is limited, this configuration allows for good data rates or digital information transfer measure in bits or second. Sometimes, given a total minus error correction overhead and good signal consistency within the coverage area prior to positioning, grounding and lighting protection are required. As seen in the pictures, all supporting constructions have lightning rods. A well-chosen down-tilt setting strategy can lower the overall interference in the network. A too aggressive down-tilting strategy will, however, lead to an overall loss of coverage due to cells not overlapping. Down-tilting can be used to solve specific problems. For example, local interference problems or cells that are too large. Electrically tilting slightly reduces beam weight. In a picture, there are two sector antennas with different mechanical down tilts. Note that more vertical antenna is less visible than a mechanical tilted one. The use of purely electrical tilt with no mechanical tilt is therefore an attractive choice for aesthetic reasons, with a very important for operators seeking acceptance of integrated antennas in visible location. To increase or widen the coverage area and thus the number of served clients, several sector antennas are installed on the same supporting structure. Such a construction is often called a sectorized antenna, though sometimes for brevity sector antenna it's used as well. It has a several angular separated sector antenna. In conclusion, the antenna is a device that converts high-frequency current in the electromagnetic wave. Sector antenna, also known as a sector panel, is an outdoor directional antenna. Base stations are the most popular users, and they can be seen hung on the mobile phone's tower. They're long, skinny antennas with a lot of gain. The antenna's long, narrow form gives it a fan-shaped projection pattern within the horizontal direction and relatively narrow in the vertical direction. By adjusting the down tilt of the pattern, the coverage area, which is determined by the projection of the radiation pattern in the field, can be modified. A sectorized antenna is a common name for such a structure, though sector antenna is often used for brevity. It has several angularly separated sector antennas as shown on the figure.